Mm-hmm.
There's a time horizon that all of our actions are taken into account.
You're 31 years old?
Right.
How much? Like, you're not 51, you're not 81, you're 31 years old.
Right.
In the prime of your political career. Okay? Right, you're just kind of getting going. You would have a lot better chances to do what you want to do with $100 million in the bank versus $1 million in the bank. That's ultimately what I'm saying. It's not like you're some old man.
Well, what would I have to do to get the $100 million?
I don't know, if you would have maybe worked with the league a little bit better. You could have played in the league.
Work with the league, the shill for China, the shill for the CCP.
Yeah, but this is my point.
Godless tyrannical regime in
I'd rather have
human history.
I'd rather have $100 million
from
in the bank.
CCP.
Whatever it is.
No, it's see, that's
I'd rather have $100 million in the bank,
that's a big problem.
and then
it's not whatever
and then
it is.
come out and speak out against it now.
It's not whatever it is. I'm not taking $100 million from Satan for him to trick me into thinking I'm speaking
Who's
out
Satan?
against him. Like, what do you mean?
You're saying from Satan? Who's Satan?
He says the NBA is. By the
The
way,
NBA is
the whole-
Satan?
The whole regime. They're all openly anti-God. They're not even hiding it. They're saying it right out in the open. If you believe in Jesus Christ, if you believe in God, you're either a conspiracy theorist, a quack, or you're a white supremacist.
I watch the NBA religiously. No pun intended. I've never heard them say that.
You haven't seen it, but you're not syncing it across the liberal establishment media. They're all in on it together. The Washington Post, the New York Times, Mother Jones, The Guardian, they're all in on it together. They're saying they have the exact same message, and the NBA stands back as this sort of, unique cog in that machine, and they go, well, we don't have to talk about God at all, but we're going to affirm all of the other anti-God movements, LGBTQ, BLM, women's rights, whatever the other, all of the other ones, but we just won't speak on God. But they're right there at the table with the CCP. They won't speak on the CCP. The CCP are locking up anybody who has faith. And they're not even shy about it. The Uyghurs, for sure. I mean, the Uyghurs is right out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
But the Christians, the Tibetans, what are we talking about? Who's Satan? They're old. I could see if they had a non-position on God. They're anti-God. And they're very abashed about it.
Yeah,
so why would I take $100 million from them to speak out against them? And do you actually think they would let me do that? If it wasn't,
after you leave the league, you can do whatever you want.
Well, what happens then? What about, when you're...
There's a lot of people out there who are going to be like, dude, I hear you. I understand.
I know, they're the reason why we lost the country.
Your moral compass
that's the reason why we lost this country.
Right.
That's the exact, those people out there that would say, yeah, I know, man, but the $100 million, the money, the war, the game of today must be won. They lost us the game of 10 years down the road, 30 years ago. This was Kissinger. Kissinger could say the same thing. Oh, we went to China because the unions pressed the market too hard, and they made it unfair or hard for the American business to operate here in America fairly. So we opened up China.
But wasn't that Richard Nixon, Republican?
A Democrat.
Richard Nixon was a Democrat now.
Yes.
Holy shit, Royce. I maybe all the history I've learned is completely backwards.
Democrat before.
Richard Nixon is a Democrat?
He was a Democrat before. First of all, he was a Democrat before he became a Republican.
I've never heard
Number one.
Never heard this. I've always thought of Richard Nixon as a Republican president.
Barry Goldwater was the real conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Nixon was the favorable, likable, more moderate.
And where's Barry Goldwater in the history, the annals of history?
He was the forefather of the modern conservative movement.
Yeah, he got wiped out.
No, he didn't get wiped out. The same establishment that pushes gender theory today paints Barry Goldwater as an extremist, domestic terrorist, white supremacist. And that's exactly the game that's been run on the American... You have this concept, not you personally, but I'm saying, and many people do, have this concept that whoever holds it's real Machiavellian, whoever holds the sword has the power. But Christians don't believe that. We believe God has the power and the truth has the power across the iteration of games. So you could win today with lies, and I could die today in the pursuit of truth, but that's still winning. And when you don't have faith, you can't come to grips with that. And a lot of people who even say they have faith demonstrate how they don't when they say, I have to win today, or what was the point? No, the point was there was a set of values and ideas and something that was right that you believed in, that you were willing to live by and die for. But if you never start to dying for the good thing, the bad folks will just get to run away with it.
So what are you willing to die for?
The truth. The truth. It's very simple.
And what's the truth that we don't understand?
Well, I think and politically, I think there's a uniparty. of people who have posed as one category or the other, be it Democrat or Republican, but ultimately they've served in the interest of the political elites, and they've served in the interest of a globalist agenda. And they're saying that right out in the open too. You know, when they send down a House resolution that suggests the military should be able to pursue and persecute American citizens without congressional oversight in the name of fighting domestic terrorism, or a pandemic, let's say, pandemic misinformation, we are being run by a foreign authority. We have given over our rights and our sovereignty to a foreign governing body, and it's not being hidden. That's what's so frustrating. It's like these things that they're so arrogant, they're so confident in their position and the position they've carved out of authority. They don't even feel they have to really lie. So it's not that they're not telling the truth so much as we, the people, don't want the burden of freedom. We've given up our sovereignty. We've given up our right. We did it. So when I go into my congressional district, I'm not going up to the door and bringing the moms and kids out and giving them kisses and lollipops and slapping them on the butt because it'll help me win. I'm telling them the truth. The government you watch on TV that you have your complaints about exists because of you. That's the difference between me and most politicians, not only now, but throughout time. And that is the truth. We've traded our freedom for security and materialism.